Hey, me and Matt here, and I'm Killer Kyle. Welcome to another episode of Wheels of Fury. It's Killer Kyle, me, Matt. Second episode of a double episode of Wheels of Fury. This time we're talking about WrestleMania 32. It takes place in Dallas, Texas. Now, of course, this year's WrestleMania is also going to take place in Dallas. So it's only fitting that we go back to a WrestleMania that took place in Dallas and talk about it.
Yeah, and I mean, this is gonna be our last installment before WrestleMania next week.
Right.
So, yeah, like Kyle said, Dallas, Texas. This was pretty cool. I had just moved here to Peterborough, Ontario. Yeah, for those of you who are not Canadian, whatever, but...
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, it was cool to watch WrestleMania. At the time, I watched it by myself, but I was just getting to know people. And, I mean, we met.
Yeah, we had already met at that point. Before we started hanging out regularly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, is this as good as last year's WrestleMania, the one that we just talked about? Well, we'll have to see. I mean, it's not going to be as ranty, I don't think, but still.
Probably not.
You never know. Again, we have the U.S. title. We've got Kalisto versus Ryback.
Yeah. I have no idea why they put these two together.
Yeah, this was not something that made sense. I mean, Ryback, again, you look at, we talked about Damian Sandow. I don't think Ryback was used. I mean, what, he had the U.S. title. I believe he had the Intercontinental title at one point, but
right.
It could have been so much more, yet I don't know that they had any hope for him. I mean, he comes in with Nexus.
Yeah.
You know, he has Skip Sheffield and then goes into Ryback later on. So this was interesting in itself. You got Kalisto, who, again, yeah, they could have used him better too, but you look at the two of them and you would think Ryback being the muscle guy would go over a lot more, but
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, I believe Ryback won in this match.
I think.
It was a good match. I mean, it was an okay match.
Yeah.
Kind of forgettable in my opinion, despite the fact that I believe Ryback could have had a much better career in WWE.
Yeah, you can say that again.
So.
This match was a 10-woman tag team match. You got Team Total Divas, Natalya, Alicia Fox, Brie Bella, Paige, and Eva Marie. Oh, that poor one.
Eva Marie!
And then you got Team Bad and Blonde.
Yeah.
Naomi, Tamina, Lana, Emma, and Summer Rae.
This was the year where the women's revolution came into play.
Yeah.
You know, and we talked about WrestleMania 31, and it was slowly becoming that kind of thing, where the women would shine a lot more. And I think this WrestleMania, you definitely had it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this was a pretty good match, too. And honestly, I believe it was the Total Bellas team that won.
I think so, yeah.
So, I mean, this was an okay match. It wasn't great, obviously. You have a lot of them that are still in the business. Tamina and Naomi. And then you got Natalia. Basically, that's it. The Bellas aren't around no more. Lana left. Emma is on Impact. Summer Rae made an appearance at this year's Women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Eva Marie's gone, so...
Yeah. She left WWE for a while. She, I think, was doing, like, theater, if you will, and then she came back, and her second run was as good as her first. That says it all.
For sure.
And, yeah. One thing I don't understand, though, Team Bad, Beautiful and Dangerous. Well-fitting name. Then you have to add the and blonde in there, because I guess, well, Emma's like a sandy blonde, maybe?
Dirty blonde.
Dirty blonde.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know. I mean, Team Bad was basically Naomi, Sasha, and Tamina.
Yeah.
But we have Sasha Banks in the next match. We have these two, so... Yeah, I mean, Lana wasn't really a good wrestler. I mean, you look at Emma when she was in this company, and it was almost like, okay, she was goofy, and that was basically it.
Yeah.
You want to look at her career in Ring of Honor and Impact, it was a fuck up a lot better.
I'm surprised her run in Ring of Honor was as short as it was. I mean, she's done great in Impact, but like, there seems to be a lot of potential for her in Ring of Honor, especially when you had her with, what was it, Lifeblood?
Yeah.
And, you know, I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. And then she was only there, I think, maybe 3 weeks.
About, yeah.
And then she got put through a table by Bully Ray. And then a short time later, she's over at Impact.
Yeah, I know. And Summer Rae, I'm not even sure, like I said. After the Women's Royal Rumble, she's MIA, so it might have just been a one-time thing.
I think so. There really hasn't been anybody that participated in the Women's Royal Rumble that has stuck around. I think it was just a one and done deal.
Yeah, and I mean, kudos to Alicia Fox for cleaning up her act and everything else.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if she stuck around, but I just honestly don't think they saw enough in her.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because she could wrestle.
Oh yeah, she was quite the talent.
So
they had her do some stupid shit, but nevertheless, she could fucking go in the ring.
Oh fuck yeah.
I mean, her bridge? Nobody could bridge better than her.
No.
Oh, the axe kick she had is fucking good too.
Yeah. Like, Alicia Fox is one of the most underrated women wrestlers, superstars, or whatever, in the WWE.
Oh, hands down, for sure.
So, I'm not quite sure why they brought her back if they weren't gonna, like, continue using her. You know, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
The Usos versus a returning Dudley Boys. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, exactly.
Why the fuck would you have the Dudley Boys come back if you're gonna do jack shit, fuck, squat, all with them? One of the greatest tag teams of all time, and yeah, donkey fuck them up the ass. Like, okay, you partnered with the Usos, that was fine. Did some stuff with them in the New Day, again, that was fine. But they never went anywhere. You did very little with them. Fuck, you could have easily put the tag titles on those guys again and let them have a run. And you just raped them.
Pretty much. Yeah, we're not gonna use tables no more. The tables that made you famous! It was like, you know, Bully came back at the Royal Rumble in, I believe, 15. And yeah, you know, you look at the New Age Outlaws, and they at least had a title run when they came back. Yes, they were clean and sober, and yes, I know they were Triple H's boys. But you put the titles on them. Do you not think you could have put the titles back on the Dudley Boys? And I know we, again, go back to WrestleMania 31, when you don't use Sting to his potential. But you fucking had the Dudley Boys since 2000. And then you bring them back for what?
Yeah.
There was no point, and there was no reason why they couldn't have had another title run.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It really fucking sucks that you had to have Bully Ray go back to Impact, then go back to Ring of Honor. Or go to Ring of Honor, no less. Now Devon's backstage, he can't wrestle no more. And so it's like, yeah, you know, this was such a fucking shame. You should have had them as the tag team titles holders and whatever, and you didn't. You fucked it up with that, and it really is sad. Because out of all the tag teams that came back, including the Headbangers, which came back for a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
why not put the Dudleys in the title picture again?
Now we have
Ladder match.
match.
Intercontinental title.
Again. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Stardust, Sin Cara, Zack Ryder, and
Dumbass!
Yeah.
Ladder match for the Intercontinental title. And of course, you got Kevin Owens, who was the title holder at the time. And yeah, this was a really good match too. And again, like the one last year, you have a lot of creative ways with the ladder.
Oh yes, there was a lot of crazy stuff they did.
You look at the history with Kevin and Sammy,
Yeah.
dating back to Ring of Honor. And I had my brother say, well, why doesn't El Generico and Kevin Steen just go to AEW? And it's like, well, in my opinion, again, it all goes back to, it looks like they're having fun still.
I mean, maybe, yeah. They don't seem to be having nearly as much fun as, like, Brock, Seth, Randy. I think they're doing what they can just to be around, in my opinion.
So you have this match, and it's all good. You have Zack Ryder climbing up, and then he finally takes the title.
Yeah.
New Intercontinental Champion, and he He's celebrating with his dad. And there's a cool moment. There's a picture with Zack and Scott Hall.
Yeah.
It was very, very cool.
Insert subtitles here.
You don't fucking understand. Matt Cardona. Yes. He had his own channel. He had the Eat True Hollywood. Whatever the fuck.
See True Long Island Story.
And then you say, nope. You're making it on your own. That's not cool. You have him win the United States title. You have the shitty thing with Kane, John Cena, and Eve. You have Kane toss him off the ramp in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And then you go and you pull this shit. Because, why? This was a good moment for Matt, and you fucking ruined it. Next night, Miz comes out, and you had to have a match. You had to have Miz go over. You couldn't have Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, whatever the fuck, have the title for that long. He could have held to the next pay-per-view, at least. Could you not have given him that? But nope. Because he made it on his own. This really pisses me off. Because you could have given him a chance. You could have given him that chance. He was a decent wrestler at best. He had charisma. But for some reason, you couldn't give him a long title reign for the Intercontinental title. And it really pisses me off. I'm glad he's over on Impact. NWA.
Yeah.
You are so fucking stupid. And you want to bring Cody back, you better use him properly this time. Otherwise, what the fuck is your issue?
Yeah.
Man.
That's enough said about that.
As much as The Miz is a talented wrestler, you could have had those two wrestle in the next month, the next pay-per-view. Instead, you pulled this. Doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
One of the matches that you never thought you would see. And I mean, you talk about the Royal Rumble, and yeah, you still had the Dudley Boys make their return, but also you get the debut of the New Japan's latest American export, TNA's own, Ring of Honor's own, AJ Styles.
Yep.
So, I mean, he comes in, and you have him, I don't know, this was obviously afterwards, but you have him with Chris Jericho, and they team up, and this is obviously Chris Jericho's heel turn.
Yes.
And so, you get their feud, and it's pretty awesome when you look at these two, no pun intended, styles.
Yeah.
But this was a good match.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a really good match. And to put Jericho in the position of trying to get the new talent over actually went fairly well.
Oh yeah. I mean, you look at his match with Fandango, and, you know, yeah, was it the right call? I'm not quite sure, but at least, I think with Chris, he said that you have him lose, or whatever, then Fandango will be one of the best faces, or something, people will chant his name.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened for a while. You know, you look at AJ Styles, who's a veteran in himself, going against Jericho. And I mean, could you imagine if both guys were in Japan at the same time?
God.
But again, this showed. It just goes to show you how giving Jericho is.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, you have AJ Styles, who, you know, obviously didn't lose any ring rust.
Yeah, exactly.
In Japan. His first time actually in WWE. Because obviously, yeah, he had dark matches back in the day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for him to show up and finally get what he has now as a Triple Crown champion. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay, so we listed his credentials a couple years ago in various promotions.
Mm-hmm.
But you have Triple Crown, a Grand Slam in Impact, not quite sure about Ring of Honor. New Japan, I don't think you had the tag team titles.
No.
But then, of course, you go to WWE. Like, what fucking is next? And I think he said that he'd much rather finish his career in WWE. Yeah, he can go to AEW.
Right.
But seriously, I don't know what the point would that be.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Man tag team match. The New Day, League of Nations.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know why this didn't go further than it did.
Oh, I know. I think that, you know, when I played the fantasy wrestling games on the Xbox, I would put Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, and Wade Barrett and call them the United Kingdom. Why they didn't go with that. League of Nations was good too, but again, you're right, it didn't go as far as it could have.
Well, I think they went with League of Nations because you think about it, you got Sheamus, you got Rusev, you got Alberto Del Rio. There's a fourth one in there. Barrett.
Yeah, Wade Barrett.
So you got an Irishman, a Russian, or Bulgarian, a Mexican, and an Englishman.
Right. Then you have New Day. Yeah. And this was a pretty good match too. And then, yeah, I believe the New Day won.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we have the League of Nations team up on them. And then the glass breaks.
Mm-hmm.
You have Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, and Mick Foley. Like two guys from Texas, and then you have one guy from Long Island. And I'm not quite sure if it was because of Cactus Jack was billed from New Mexico. I don't know.
I'm sure I know why they did that. Yes, you are correct. Austin's from Victoria, Texas. Of course, Shawn is from San Antonio. Where did Mick start his career?
Dallas Wrestling.
Dallas, Texas.
That's right.
USWA. Cactus Jack Manson.
That's right. That's right. Yes. I didn't think about that, actually. But yeah, definitely. So they came into the ring, and, you know, they take out the League of Nations. But then for some reason, they were dancing with a New Day.
Yeah, well, sort of.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly.
They started dancing with them, and then New Day got wasted.
Yeah, they got wasted for sure. He delivered stunners. I don't know if he got the mandible claw at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it was just another legends coming out and just having fun with the new talent, I guess.
Yeah.
But this was cool, and I mean, yeah, it was corny, but, you know, I don't really expect Mick or Steve to, like, kick that much ass at, you know, the broken bodies that they have.
Yeah.
I mean, Shawn was okay, but...
Yeah, Shawn was okay. Austin, you know, can only do so much, especially in a pair of fucking jeans. And Mick, well, yeah.
But, yeah, it was still a good match. And then, I mean, you have The Rock come out, obviously, and talk about the attendance record. So that was cool. And then we have this match. Oh, boy. So we have a hardcore match. We've got Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
So for weeks you have, you know, gifts from Terry Funk and McFoley, and I can't remember who the other guy was.
Don't remember either.
Anyways, so yeah, now there's a story where Paul Heyman said that Jon Moxley was hard to work with. And you know what? Who gives a fuck? Like, seriously, you got Brock Lesnar saying, well, we don't need all of that for a match. It's a hardcore match, bud. You don't know what a hardcore match is? Like, what was used in this match?
Very little.
You got the chairs piled up. F5, like... Fuck it.
And we'll... and go on to... Yeah, so we got a triple threat for the Divas Championship. This was the Divas Championship at that point.
Yeah.
They got 3 of the 4 horsewomen. They got Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha.
Pretty much, yeah. This was a good lead up too. I mean, all these women in NXT, and then they come over, and then you have what was going to be the Divas Championship, and you have Lita in the ring, and she's got the towel over this new belt, and it's like, oh, this is cool. So you bring back the Women's Championship.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I remember thinking that looks like a red velvet cake. But you go, okay, this is pretty cool. I mean, it eventually turned into 2 women's titles when a brand split happened.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this was a really good match, and these women really beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, yeah.
You know? I mean, as much flack as I give Charlotte, obviously she can work her ass off.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, she can work her ass off. So can Becky, so can Sasha. And, like, the 3 of them, whatever mix you put together in a match, it was always good.
Oh, God, yeah.
Charlotte and Becky, Charlotte and Sasha, Sasha and Becky, you know, it was always gold.
Oh, yeah.
No pun intended. But yeah, it was always good.
Yeah. Obviously, Charlotte Flair picked up the win.
Yep.
Became the new women's champion.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, you have Sasha Banks coming out with her cousin Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
And, again, I can't remember the singer's name that sings her theme song, but that was a cool moment, I'm sure, for Sasha.
Oh, hell yeah.
Mercedes. So,
yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, this was cool. And to have 2 women's matches in WrestleMania at that time.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty fucking special, I think. And again, that's when the women's revolution really took off.
Yeah.
Like 2016.
Mm-hmm.
But...
yeah.
Match you got Undertaker versus Shane McMahon in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. Oh boy, this match was something else.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got Shane coming back after a few years in Japan. And goes...
Japan?
Yeah.
No, he was running his own business. He's the one that's responsible for You Shoot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where you're...
I thought he lived in Japan with his family for a while.
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, anyways. This was a good match, too. And I mean, Shane coming back, getting the ultimatum. Because I guess him and Stephanie were in charge of Raw and SmackDown. You got Shane and Brian. And then you have Mick and Stephanie.
Yeah.
So Vince is giving him the ultimatum that if he loses to the Undertaker, then he has to give the rights over to Stephanie, I guess. So this match, yeah, it was very brutal, to say the least.
Oh, yes.
I mean, a Hell in a Cell is always brutal, and the size of that thing, I mean, you thought the match with Mick and Undertaker was brutal. I mean, this cage had to have been probably higher than the ceiling in my apartment, but...
At least, yeah.
Yeah, there was a point where you have Undertaker laying on the table, and Shane, he's looking up at the ceiling. He's looking up at the cage. And I even say it out loud, don't even do it, don't even do it, don't even do it. Oh, you asshole.
Yeah, lays Undertaker on the announce table, looks up at the cage, starts climbing, gets to the roof, and is like, it's either gonna be an instant classic or a fucking train wreck, and boy, was it a fucking train wreck.
Yeah, it could have been two ways. It really could have. I mean, like I said, it was the highest sell I've ever seen. So the height had to have been fucking brutal.
Yeah, Shane gets to the top of the cell and he's stepping close to the edge and he does the whole...
Yeah.
And then just steps off and it falls. Of course, Undertaker gets off the table. Shane, right through the table.
Yeah. Fuck, that was brutal.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, Undertaker deliver the tombstone. Obviously, you knew he was gonna win.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't really go anywhere. I mean, Shane still was SmackDown GM.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, it was still a really good match. And I mean, for all I say about Shane and his glorified stuntman thing, he really can also work his ass off.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, with The Undertaker, it was like, yeah, it was brutal, and honestly, yeah, the streak was already over, but you thought it would be a close call.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, Undertaker won anyways, and there it is. Now you have the main event. You have the WWE title, Triple H versus Roman Reigns.
Oh, yeah.
This was interesting. I mean, it was Royal Rumble for the WWE title. And basically, yeah, Triple H was the surprise entry. And basically won the title, obviously.
Yeah.
Becoming, I believe, 14-time champion. And so, yeah, this feud was pretty cool. I mean, you didn't think that you would see Roman Reigns and Triple H, you know, at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was cool in itself. And I mean, this match was pretty brutal as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, you have a lot of reversals. You have Triple H who basically, when the referee got his back turned, gave Roman a low blow. And so you don't know what happens next.
We're a fucking cup!
Anyways, yeah, this was pretty cool. And I mean, you look at Stephanie in the beginning of this match, and she's up on top of the scaffold or whatever. And I swear there's a lot of times where she scares the shit out of me. Making that speech and just, I mean, if it were me, I would probably be screaming and covering my face, but anyway. She's up there and she's talking about the King of Kings, and you got the guys in the bottom in skull masks or whatever. And then, of course, Triple H comes out. And, you have that. This was pretty cool because, you didn't know which way this was going to go. Obviously, Roman Reigns was WWE champion before. So, to see him defeat Triple H and become the new champion, I think that was pretty fucking cool.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And this is basically you have the Authority, and then you have Roman as the anti-authority guy, if you will. And
yeah.
he was WWE champion, and they were trying to do everything they could to get the title off of Roman. And then, of course, you had the Royal Rumble, and so the championship on the line, and Triple H ended up winning, and then landed into WrestleMania that year, and yeah. Definitely one of those moments where you go, wow, who would have ever thought you'd see that happen?
And as much as people give Triple H flack for going into business for himself, I'm sure there was a lot, but I mean, it's to have him lose to Roman at the time, I mean, and you know what, and to me, it's still not fair when you have people cheer Triple H and they have him booed out of the building when he wins the title, Roman.
Yeah.
And it's almost give people a fucking chance. I know that they're not your favorite, but, it was either him or I don't know who else.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see him as the WWE champion again anyways. I mean, Triple H was already past his prime. So, I mean,
yeah, I guess.
Honestly, I think he wanted to hold on to the new title as opposed to that fucking spinner belt. Anyways. But, no, this was a really good match. And again, Stephanie took a bump.
Yep.
That's one cool thing I could say about Stephanie McMahon is even at WrestleMania 31, maybe not. Well, yeah, because she had done bar with Ronda, so it was each WrestleMania she did take a bump or two.
Yeah.
So yeah, she did get knocked out onto the apron or off the apron, no matter. So, anyways, yeah, I really enjoyed this match. It's probably one of the best pay-per-views, in my opinion, for WrestleMania. I know that WrestleMania 31 was okay. This one I actually enjoyed.
Yeah.
Besides the hardcore match, this was a good WrestleMania.
Yeah, for sure. Really good show.
Well, next week, it's time! WrestleMania 38.
Yes, sir.
Actually, it's going to be a stacked weekend because you got WrestleMania 38 Stand and Deliver, which I believe is in the afternoon.
Yes.
And then, of course, you have Super Card of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm hoping we fit this all in. I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
But this has been fun. I know last year we only covered one WrestleMania. I think we've done that in the past. So to cover some more, I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've done that with SummerSlam and all that. But anyways, yeah, we'll talk to you next week for the star-studded events in wrestling. So Yeah, for me and Matt. This is Killer Kyle.
We will see you next week.
Deuces.
Bye, guys.